Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the Dover Select Board meeting on Tuesday, February 17th to order at 6:30 PM. First business, public comments. Jim.
I have a couple of things. The first has the issue of the application for the town meeting been resolved?
I believe so, yes. We're using the sound system that was used for the concerts at the hall, which are,
I don't know how would it be done, but I know there was a sound system for that up there.
yeah, that's what we're gonna be using.
Okay. The second question I have is that last Wednesday's water meeting, you mentioned that there's an issue with soil remediation,
Correct.
which I started thinking about this. I hadn't heard anything about the soil remediation. I'm wondering what other issues might be involved with that well project and the buildings that the public may not be aware of and the potential costs.
So we don't know yet the cost of the remediation. This came as a complete surprise to us, and we were really blindsided by it because we've been using an engineering firm. And it's just doesn't, it caught Jeanette completely by surprise. So we don't know those numbers now. So we're waiting. And hopefully we will get some information shortly. So, yes, Jim.
What about the buildings? Are there issues with the buildings themselves?
Well, we want to rework the maintenance room because we need to do that. But that's something we talked about in many meetings about storage and yes, Jim. Okay, Jim.
In looking at soil remediation, I see numbers around $5,000 a ton to have that done commercially. So how many tons?
We have no idea. We don't know how much it has to be tested, but it has to be, it's part of the whole process, and it's been a very frustrating process for everybody, particularly Jeanette. Jim. Yes.
My name's Jim Martin. My question first off is, can you tell me where bridge issue stands with the
Can I defer to our highway commissioner, Travis?
Yes, I've reached out to some engineering firms. I'm currently in the process of bidding quotes because we need a full bridge assessment done on it before we can start with any design processes.
bridge that I'm talking about? It's a snowmobile bridge.
Oh, sorry.
I got the wrong one.
I thought you meant the Blue Brook.
I did as well, sorry. So it's closed for the season. I don't know anything more. It's up to the Greens to make that decision.
What, if anything, has the select board to have this thing removed?
It's not our responsibility. It's vast.
It is not your responsibility.
It's not something we have control over.
So in the spring, when I take my backhoe and start moving blocks, stones in that brook, and the potential lives of killing fish that are still there, and the select board's just gonna look the other way and say it's not our responsibility?
Patrick,
Can I ask, can you clarify? I want to make sure because we've already had one bit of confusion about the bridge you're talking about.
Yes.
Which bridge are you specifically, for the record, are you referring to?
I live on Route 100.
Mhm.
The Blue Brook Road comes up
Okay,
and the green part.
okay.
Bridge that I'm talking about was built illegally.
Oh, that bridge. Okay,
Mhm.
yep. Okay, good. This is the one that was started by DASP, not
By the
by
stump
stump
jump.
jumpers.
yes.
If you're saying to me that the select board has no involvement and intends to do nothing.
The bridge, the metal parts of the bridge are gonna be removed. Whether another bridge is put in or not, we don't know. It's between the stump jumpers, VASP, and the Greens. Tabby,
As in a butter.
excuse me,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you.
Someone else was called on.
Thank you.
Tabby,
Also, the streams department has true oversight over anything that is done to any stream, stream bed, or stream bank. And they are involved with this, and they will be overseeing any removal, repair, anything that touches the stream at all to maintain the integrity of the stream. So the state DEC streams,
Have you seen this?
I saw part of it, but now I haven't walked onto the property since the snow. I can if you'd like me to come over and visit, but the streams department truly has the call over how this will be fixed and remediated.
Federal EPA has a say in it too. That,
This is the Vermont Department of Environmental Conservation, and it is the Vermont Streams people. So, and they have been very helpful in maintaining the streams that were damaged in floods and everything else that's gone around. They're been very efficient, so they will be quite helpful.
so, before I leave, it is your position that you have nothing to do with that.
Sarah,
It's our position that we are not in a position to tell a private landowner what can happen on their land. They get to say what happens on their land. They have said what can happen on their land. The bridge is going away. There's a very extensive agreement between VASP, stump jumpers, and the Greens. The Greens are very active. They have made a call about what they want and they are getting it. So it's not, I'm not gonna go onto somebody's private property as a select board member and say, you can't do that. That's up to the people who own the land and the person who violated it. We don't have any enforcement arm in the select board. We can't arrest them.
How is it that the zoning officer walks onto my property and says, that's not?
Zoning is different.
Oh.
If this had been a zoning violation, then the zoning department, the zoning office would have addressed it. But it wasn't a zoning violation. It was,
Wasn't a
okay,
zoning-
okay, okay. You've got your answer. That's the answer. It's not a zoning violation. We don't dictate what happens with streams. So it's over. Thank you very much for bringing it to our attention. But you can go talk to the Greens. See what their plan is, because
they have a good plan.
what else under public comments? Okay. Under additions and deletions to the agenda, I have several changes here. We may not have Cliff Duncan here under new business. If he is, he's gonna come after economic development, and I'm moving highway above the transfer station, and then we'll do the transfer station, economic development. And then if Cliff is here, we'll talk to Cliff, and then the consent agenda. I also have a question for the board. Alan Goldberg, a resident of Blue Brook Road, is very concerned about herbicide spraying that Green Mountain Power was going to do. Green Mountain Power has always sprayed around here, but he's very concerned about the contamination of water sources. He has sent a letter to the state senators, to Laura, to me, to Andy, and is asking for a call to action. I'd like to take the temperature of how everybody feels about spraying herbicides under power lines. Sarah,
Well, first of all, when is this supposed to happen?
it's supposed to start April 1st.
Oh, okay, because aren't they supposed to post it?
Normally, I told Alan that, he said he got a letter. I told Alan that, but he also, but usually it does run as a legal notice in the newspaper.
Right.
I haven't seen it there yet.
I don't know.
So I don't know how people feel about spraying. Right now, their way to clear power lines is to physically cut the brush. but that's more expensive, so they'd like to go back to you, particularly. You have the right to say no, in writing if the power line is within 1,000 feet of your home. However, Alan's feeling as a scientist is the herbicide is still gonna go in the ground and still come out and go in water, so, you know. So, we can talk, he's gonna bring it up again at town meeting, but I just thought I'd put it out there you know, so everybody can talk about it, and he did actually go to Laura's office hours on Saturday and talk to her about it, so I told him those are the right channels to go through. So I just thought I'd mention it tonight. Okay, anything else? Moving on, so we're gonna move on to highway, these should take literally 2 minutes probably. So we first have the approve the signed town road and bridge standards. This is something we do every single year.
So,
Multiple. Which one did I give?
this is certificate of
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so, I move that we authorize the select board to sign the town and road bridge standards for Dover. I assume Travis prepared this.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
And then I make a motion that the select board sign the certificate of compliance for town road and bridge standards and network inventory. Prepared by Travis.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Patrick, and then we'll sign this and then we're gonna move on to the transfer station.
Signed out here because that's for somebody else.
I think that's all of us. We were all doing it. Yes, we're all doing something.
Okay.
I don't know, but I didn't want to spread it all over everybody. I don't know what that would look like. That is exactly my new place.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so we have Tyler Hagan here from Casella to talk about transfer station fees. This came as a bit of a surprise considering we had just set our budget to be warned for town meeting, and these increases came as a shock. So, where do we want to start with this?
I could start by answering any questions you might have right off the bat. I'm not sure if Jeanette has shared the email my manager shared with folks.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sort of explaining where we currently are and where we're going. These rates that we have in place, especially for hauling your containers, have been in place since we purchased Triple T in 2023. We decided to give a couple of year cushion on putting the immediate increases in place. But it's the unfortunate truth that we have to catch up with our process and our costs on our end. So the current haul rate set at 170, that's per haul. So every time we touch and take a trip with our truck with a container, it's 170, and that's going to be going up to 278. And that is a middle ground in comparison to other areas locally here. The trip is about 2 hours and change. I'd say 2 hours roughly. With your trash specifically, there are chances that could be a 4.5 hour trip. If we don't commingle it with other jobs that we have over the hill, as I say, because we're over in Brattleboro. So I think the rate for the haul is a good middle ground, and we're sort of playing catch up from old Triple T rates. So that's the big thorn on the side with the budget. We understand it doesn't come at a good time. I wish I knew everyone's budget schedule and then I would line it up to that. And I also wish that I could go back in time 3 years and slowly increment this increase, opposed to just hitting it all at once. That increase is expected to take effect May 1st. And that would be the biggest detriment to the budget at this time.
So budgeting for most towns in Vermont happens in the November, December period.
Okay,
Because town reports need to be prepared, and we have town meeting day the first Tuesday of March. So we really would have appreciated if we had known, we would have obviously made some changes. So that's a typical budget season. Some towns start in October, but it's usually not set till late December or early January.
okay.
So and then he also mentioned something about contractual rates in his letter.
Yes, we would put forth an agreement with these rates in place. Typically, a contract for this style of equipment is about 5 years. And that's to mutual benefit. It protects us from any damages and things like that. It outlines the services. But then it also provides a rate escalator that you can use for budgeting purposes. So it'll say exactly what you can expect year over year for an increase. Either CPI or if it's a set rate of no more than 5%. Those are benefits to having the agreement in place. You always say contract, but it really, you can fire us any time if you like. We really
We're
don't.
the only name that came in town.
For certain services, yes.
Yeah.
Or all encompassing services, yes. There are some small haulers that do
Yeah.
odds and ends, but it's nice to go with one person. Budgeting. So that is the benefit to the agreement. Is that it would set forth a budget for years to come, typically 5 years.
Okay. Something that we may want to consider going forward.
Yeah, I believe you should expect in the coming weeks, days, we'll put forth an agreement for you to look over. And you can say yay, nay, send us back to the drawing board if you want, I always say definitely push back if we can, right? Say this is fair for us, what do you have to offer? There's always opportunity for that. We don't shy away from it.
Questions? Jim?
How many trips a year is that?
Oh my gosh, I'd have to go to the drawing board. It's on-call services, so we don't have it as a set schedule. Typically, you might have once a week, twice a week, once a month. For all of your services, construction, demolition, recycling, trash, it's all on-call.
Jim?
There must be some historical figures.
I could absolutely look at historical figures there. If I had your, I could access that in the account, but fortunately.
Patrick?
Yeah, I think Travis, you may have done some work on this.
Yes,
Mhm.
I did. I don't have my figure right now, but I know it was every 9 days throughout the year. Our dumpsters get dumped. That's not including the times that we request to have them dumped before a holiday weekend, so we know we can make it through. So, at that rate, like Patrick and I had talked, you're looking at 45 to 50 something $1,000 at the new rate per year, just for the trucking alone.
Every 9 days, is that just trash?
That's trash and recycling.
And recycling, okay, got it. Yep.
And I believe it's probably all of them.
Yeah.
Truth be told,
Yeah,
because
it's the three, construction, demolition, recycling, and trash.
yeah.
Sarah?
So 365 divided by 9 is 40.5. And then you're saying that there would be bump ups around holidays.
Yeah,
So if we could assume there's 11 holidays a year, right, that's
Yep.
52.
Yep.
Right? So that's 52,000.
yeah,
Mhm.
The bad with the zeros.
Yeah,
but yes, that's,
it's kind of consistent.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's the increment, that's the additional, is that correct, Travis?
That's
Sorry.
That's assuming for the new rate.
That's at the new rate.
Oh,
That's
I didn't do a figure for what we're currently paying.
But that,
Yeah.
but the difference is $100, so
Yeah.
that's the incremental increase.
Okay. Anybody have any other, Jeanette?
Oh, no, I was just gonna say what I had given this to Patrick, I think. What we spent
Yeah.
for 2025
Mhm.
was over $122,000.
Yes, 122,871.
I will roll it, it's on top.
No, that's total, that's
Total.
everything. That's everything.
Yes, Patrick.
For a comment, I guess it's directed to Tyler. So just so I understand. Soon, shortly next week or two, presumably you're gonna give us a form of contract with. Structure to allow us to go through it
Absolutely.
and react to it.
Yep, it'll outline all of the services that are included.
Okay,
So it's great, track, recycling, and construction demolition.
okay. As you might expect, and as you've heard here, there's a lot of concern about, that much of a bump up. And what that means for where we are in our budget cycle, because that means we've got to basically figure out how to get whatever we end up with, that's how we
Take away for some.
how to fill that hole, yeah.
Yes.
So I think that, it means that we have to wait until we see his contract, so we
Yes.
have something to react to specifically. But are you the person then that we communicate with?
Myself, my boss David Allen, who's been corresponding with Jeanette as well. And, I'll ask, is there maybe we can answer this question when we get an agreement, but is there a better time than May 1st?
July
July
1st.
July first.
That's the start of the fiscal year,
Okay.
Yeah.
July 1st.
so we don't change courses midstream.
Yeah,
Right.
I can bring that to the drawing board.
Yeah, that, we work on the July, is the beginning of our fiscal year.
Okay.
So,
I don't think that's out of the question. I actually recently worked at schools. So she reached out and she got her increase at the beginning of the year. That's when we implemented it for this region. Apart from transfer stations, that's commercial accounts that I mostly deal with. And she requested the same. She said, I see the increase, but can you please pause and put it for July? And we said, absolutely, we'd be happy to work with you. So we paused the increase, implemented it in July. So that's something we can absolutely work on.
thank you, and we do appreciate you, because the initial notice came effective immediately, and you guys pushed it off to May 1st.
Yeah.
But July 1st would be better,
Yeah.
we would appreciate
So
that.
definitely throw that as a response to better than just my word, as a response to the agreement.
Thank you.
We work.
Thank you. Other comments?
You said that part of the haul is 2 hours and part of the haul is 4 hours for different
Sure.
product.
Yep.
So we're,
So for example, your trash container, it's called it's a compactor, it's a 35-yard, I believe, self-contained. So self-contained means the whole entire unit comes with us when we go take a trip. If there's an instance where we take that, empty it, and then we bring it all the way back, and then we might be going back to Brattleboro empty. So that's kind of a full expense on just this one trip, this one customer. Sometimes, most of the time, what we try and do, just our team is great at it, is that when we return that self-contained trash compactor, and then we have to head back to Brattleboro, we'll commingle that with another job. So we're not wasting our time or wasting that truck and gas and labor hours. So we're bringing something back with us.
So no deadheads.
That's right. Yes.
so would it behoove us to have another container or not? I
No,
know in the past we've gotten, like, we purchased the container so that we have, I see what you're saying, about moving containers around.
yeah, the other ones are open tops, the 30 yards and open top container, construction demolition container. I believe the recycling is a 40-yard container. I'm not sure if it's a compacting unit or not. It is, okay, so that'll be a breakaway. So we have a swap box that we bring, an empty box that we put in its place, so there's no lag time in between. But that would basically be saying 4.5 hours is justification of the price. We're not charging you for a 4.5 hour trip. We're looking at it as 2.5 hours every time.
Right.
There are some instances when that happens, but it's few and far between, and we plan to avoid it.
Dan,
I've heard from the transfer station person, as well as my own experience. It's hard to get a hold of your company to get somebody to come and pick up something. If it's not the scheduled time, is there any way that that could be improved?
Routing your services.
Excuse me?
So routing the services would be the solution to that. So that means we do an auto-generated work order where we set your container to be picked up every month on a set day, or every 28 days, once a week, every 14 days. You can do any custom time frame you want. But then that may be an increased cost. You may not always need that. So that's typically what I see with an on-call service. It's to avoid that regular pickup, even though you might not need it. It's a little bit more work on the transfer station guys, because they have to monitor it, and once it's full, they call it in. But that sometimes results in inconsistencies, because we might get a call late in the afternoon saying, I need to pick up tomorrow, and we're full for the next day. So that's the problem you run into when you set it on an on-call cadence. That we can't plan the future or understand when you're gonna call it in. You know, if you call it in on a Thursday at 4 o'clock, we might not get till Tuesday. That's just the unfortunate part of it, where we may fill up with the schedule. But having it set for a specific group, and that's something we could dive into, Travis, if you want. We can look into the average, and then we can say, okay, on average, you're getting picked up every 9 days. Why don't we just set this to every 14, and then you call for additional services if you need it. That is something to consider for the future, but again, it takes a little bit of load off the transfer station.
So in my own personal business, I closed Friday.
Yeah.
On 3 occasions, and I got hung up on each time, going Brattleboro.
Huh.
So
I'd love to know the number you called and be able to give them a piece of my own.
I'll get you the information.
Yeah, thank you, and I can share mine as well with the group. Jeanette has David and I's contact. You can use our direct line, and we can always get you in touch with you too. 1-800 Casella does have its growing pains, I like to call it. You know, that's our central hub in Rutland that's answering that phone call. There's only a set amount of people that can answer the phone, and they're working on about 2 dozen different softwares from anywhere from Mid-Atlantic to Northern Maine. For services, so that's a lot. So I always like to provide my number for the local division, so you can get a direct line to us and our dispatch team.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
anything else? Well, we look forward to proposal,
Yes.
and thank you for coming out tonight. We appreciate it. Thank you for offering to work with Travis to try to.
Yeah, Travis, I'll give you my cards when I go to the box, but reach out anytime, and Jeanette, feel free to share my contact with the group. Any of you can reach out if you ever need anything or have any questions.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate your time, and I'll head home. I have a 1-year-old. He might keep me up all night. Who knows?
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. You hanging or you leaving? Okay, we're gonna move on to economic development. So the first thing is the event sponsorship for the Independence Day celebration and fireworks.
Yes, so I sent this out last week, I can confirm it's complete, but I cannot offer any. So Pam's here. To answer any questions.
So thank you for this opportunity to request these funds. And if you've looked back at last year's compared to this year's, there is an increase. Due to the budget is basically the same as last year, but due to the American and the US having its 250th anniversary this year, there's a high demand for fireworks. And then we had 30% tariffs on Chinese fireworks, where they all come from. The cost of the fireworks went up 50%. So we asked a little more from you, a little more from Wilmington. Wilmington is committed to that larger amount. And then we're also seeking out other sponsorships to help make up that price increase.
Can you, for the minutes, just say how much last year was and how much you're asking?
Our request for you,
Yes.
so last year our request for you was $6,750. This year's request is $8,000. And the increase in the cost of fireworks was $6,000.
Any questions of Pam about the fireworks celebration? And can you just tell everybody what day it's gonna, the days are?
July 2nd with a rain date of July 10th. That's a Thursday, for the 2nd.
That's not a bad day, better than last year, I think.
Last year was Wednesday,
Mhm.
we're getting closer.
Yeah,
We could not have written for it.
Yeah.
It worked.
it would have been much more. It was, they said 20,000 or nothing to be within the time frame of the, but on the 4th itself, it was gonna be more.
Well,
Anybody wanna make a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the event sponsorship request of $8,000 for the Independence Day celebration and fireworks.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving also on economic development, we have the 2026-27 Do It, DASP and signage programs.
Yes, so these three programs, this would be for the July 1 year starting. Do It does usually get sent out to businesses in April with a May application timeframe. There's no changes to these programs from last year, other than the dates of application, when they have to submit things, and the contact information, but for these, everything has remained the same. The only other grant program, DTAP, that one has been opening in September, so I did not include this one here.
Anybody have any questions of Shannon?
I make a motion that we approve the applications for the 2026-2027 Do It, DASP and signage programs.
Second.
Patrick on the second. All in favor? All right, Cliff is not here, and that was his late.
And he just texted back, so he will not be able to make it.
So he's also asked to be rescheduled for our next meeting, which will be Wednesday, March 4th, which is our reorganizational. So, all right, we'll move over to the consent agenda. We need to approve the minutes of February 3rd.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of February 3rd.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we're gonna move on to the warrants for February 14th, 2026, in the amount of $1,591,228.49.
And I make a motion that we approve the warrants of February 14th for $1,591,220.49.
Just a caveat, 1.3 million of that is River Valley School District payment.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, FYI, Planning Commission's meeting, February 23rd at 6:30 PM. Pre-town meeting is next Tuesday, the 24th at 6 PM at the Dover Town Hall and via Zoom. Town meeting is March 3rd at 10 AM, Dover Town Hall, with audio enhancements. Reorganizational meeting is March 4th at 6:30 PM. Liaison reports,
I just had one.
yes,
I met this afternoon with Linda. She is going to put together for the select board review a timeline of what remains to be done and when we expect to be done on the reappraisal process, so we can plan ahead.
that's great, thanks. Thanks for doing it. Any others? Okay, I don't know of any executive session,
I'd like to little warrant.
for what?
Telephony,
What?
telephony. Is it video?
Video, is it executive session? Item,
It's something we should address.
is it contractual or confidential or? Then it should not go under executive session,
Okay,
and it wasn't on the, it wasn't on the agenda.
just happened yesterday.
So I think if you want it, get it on the agenda for the 4th,
Okay,
okay?
sounds good.
Right. Anything else? Motion to adjourn, so moved, 7:04.
Second.
So.